Rachel Madow bragged how she got the J&J killing shot prior to them taking it off the market. Now, the interesting thing about this, and for me as a nurse for 25 years, what stuck out for me is that she thought she was so marvelous and it was just so intelligent that they had her stay for double the time, not the 15-minute observation period, but the 30-minute observation period, because she had a history of having some type of reaction to a drug in the past. So I'm going to let you listen to how she explains that, and then I'm going to let you hear from me as a nurse and what a real observation period is from a nursing point of view. So I'm going to share my screen, and you're going to listen to her brag about how she got the J&J shot.
And while we're on the subject, did I get straight? I got my shot. I did. I'm so excited. I got the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine. Can I just tell you about it for a second?
Yes, you can surely tell us about it. Let's move up to where she explains about her adverse reactions she's had in the past, and because of that, what they did.
I had a back injury. I got an injection for that, and it went quite wrong. I had a real scare with that. And even though I got the FDA fact sheets and I checked the ingredients, but look, actually, on that point, in this also terrible photo that I took, you can see, that's my shirt. You can see they put a second sticker on me. I've got my upside down vaccination sticker up there on my shoulder, but then next to that, you see it says Q/23 yes, 30 minutes. They put that on me because that means I answered yes when they asked me in the pre-screening whether I'd ever had an allergic reaction to a shot before. I had. Because of that, they put me through an additional medical screening, and then they put that other rectangular sticker on me indicating that I would have to stay a full 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes in the observation period after I got the actual dose. So they, kept an extra close eye on me for twice the usual time while I waited for that half an hour.
Okay, first of all, nobody monitored her closely for 30 minutes, and I'm going to explain why. And secondly, where they put that sticky note on her shirt saying Q23, that means the question 23, she answered yes. Nobody looked her in the eye. Nobody was asking her about her past medical history. They handed her a piece of paper on a computer, and she said yes. So now she has a sticky note. She has been branded. And what does branded mean? Well, I'm going to explain that. Livestock branding, Rachel, is a technique for marking livestock as to identify the owner. Each brand is distinct, Rachel, so that lost cows, either through wandering animals or cattle rustlers, could be returned to their rightful owner. Let me explain this. The slaughter of livestock involves 3 distinct phases: pre-slaughter handling, stunning, and slaughtering. I believe you, Rachel, were in the pre-slaughter handling stage. Now, let me talk to you as a nurse for 25 years. Did any of the so-called healthcare workers take your blood pressure, take your pulse, listen to your lungs? Did they shake your hand? Did they feel if your skin was warm or cold? Did they look in your eyes? Did they ask you questions? And were those questions being asked coming from an experienced medical provider like a nurse or a doctor? You see, Rachel, a nursing assessment is done anytime a patient gets a medical procedure, and includes a health history, a physical history, and that data is collected via a physical examination of the patient using techniques such as inspection, palpation, percussion, and auscultation, and measurement of the vital signs and other key physical indicators. But you didn't get that, did you, Rachel? No, you didn't. Conducting a systematic head-to-toe assessment is important for the nurse to assess each body system in turn to develop a detailed overall understanding of the patient's condition. Did they have a detailed understanding of your condition, Rachel? No, they did not. You know why? Because they dumbed you down and you fell for it. But Rachel, you were branded in red marker with a sticky note, Rachel. You were not even a name to them. You weren't even a human being to them. You were barely a body to them. You were nobody to them, Rachel. You were an anaphylactic reaction waiting to happen. And in their minds, they just wanted the 30-minute observation period to be up so that you could go home. And you think that it was amazing that they had you stay for 30 minutes? And you think that it was marvelous and intelligent? So I have a question for you, Rachel. What actually did they do during this 30-minute observation period? Did they check your lungs? Did they take your blood pressure? Did they check your pulse, check your skin for rashes? Or did you just sit there in the corner with your sticky note on? You see, Rachel, an observation period means you observe somebody closely. You monitor them for the remainder of the 30 minutes. Never in my 25 years of nursing did I ever do an observation period without assessing my patient with a full set of vital signs, listening to their lungs, listening to their heart, feeling their skin, checking out through clinical observation what their face looked like. Did they do that for you, Rachel? No, they didn't, did you? You had an observation period. You just sat there in a chair with a sticky note on yourself and you claim that's an observation. You're a joke. And that proves to me how little knowledge and wisdom you have, not only within yourself, but within the medical care system. And the medical care system actually should be embarrassed because this is a joke. To put people's lives at risk and to call it an observation period is an embarrassment. And observing patients in their cars. How can you observe a patient in a car? How can you observe a patient in a mass vaccination site, Rachel? But they're dumbing you down. They're dumbing down the medical procedure, aren't they? And it appears that you have fallen into the trap, the dumb trap. And that is exactly where they want you to be. They don't want you to ask questions, do they, Rachel? And you will actually think that you were being cared for and looked after. That's a joke, Rachel. And one more thing, you blink too much, and that tells me that you are a liar. They are dumbing down the medical procedure, and they're making you think that this mass vaccination procedures are normal, and they absolutely are not. Get a grip, people. Wake up.